Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Get the Shot, brought to you by Tamron Australia. We've got a wonderful guest this week, Torben Owre. He is a videographer, director, editor, does it all, incredible music videos, live performance. I'm super excited for this. As a lot of you know, my background's actually videography, even though I host a photography podcast. Bit of irony, you know. But yeah, Torben, welcome to the show.
Oh, great to be here. That was quite an introduction.
I know. I
hope I can live up to it.
Go on. You will, absolutely. I got introduced to you by one of my co-workers and a music video that you did for his band, Pixel Junkies. Of course, the video is going to be playing over the top as we're talking about it.
Right there.
I love this video.
Thank you.
When I think of like being younger and wanting to do video and wanting to make music and stuff like that, having this chaotic energy with all these different scenes, it's just exactly what I thought of. When people are like, oh, I want to start a band, what do I want to sound like? For me, when I want to make a music video, that was what I wanted to sort of make.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me all about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess a lot of it's kind of like, what would you call it, like love notes to like different aspects of television and stuff like that, and movies and stuff. There was a lot of like aspect ratio swapping around, and yeah.
Do you sort of like playing with genre and style all within one project?
For that one, definitely. I think because the whole idea of it was them watching watching themselves on television, and it kind of like, I think it like really lent itself to having that switch of style all through it, all that chaotic mess that you were talking about.
Did you have much of a budget?
No. No way.
Always the case, isn't it?
Always the case, but we got the shot.
Yeah. How did you sort of, I guess, improvise or pull off this music video with the resources you guys had?
A lot of planning, I think. Yeah, no, I think in the planning stage we were kind of like looking at like what we had available to us and what I had available to me in terms of like camera gear and time. I think it was like the big one. Well, we were kind of almost time rich, I think, for that one, where I think we spent 4 days filming, and they were really long kind of days. We mucked up one day of shooting, so half a day of shooting where we had filmed something, I think in my living room.
Okay.
And then it just didn't turn out right. I think the size of the room for like the lens we were shooting on, none of it really looked right. So then we had to film all of that again, kind of like, I think it was like a week before the video was going to come out. So we had to swap out all the stuff. And it's that shot that's all through it, where they're in the living room eating popcorn and all that kind of stuff.
It's tough because, you know, people think, I'll set up my camera, I'll film whatever it is, but they don't realize to get good depth, you need a room that's about 2 to 3 times the size that you actually need.
Yeah. I think if I'd done it differently again, I would have definitely just shot from the complete other direction, and that probably would have been fine, but...
It's all right. It's still a kick-ass music video.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's all kind of coming back to me now, like the amount of stuff that is in it. There's like them on the trikes, and...
Oh, yeah.
I think we were like hanging out the back of a car, filming that to do that, and then there's the actual product shot where it's got like, it's all CRT crappy stuff and there's smoke hovering around it. It's only for like a second or something, but I was filming that in my garage on like a 40-degree day, and I just got like a spotlight down on it. I was doing like, just doing that on the side.
Yeah, right.
What else?
Did you always, getting into, you know, how you got started, was music always the direction that you wanted to get into with your videography?
I don't think so. I think when I got into it, I wasn't really sure what I was kind of, where I wanted to end up. I still kind of don't know where I want to end up in a lot of ways. I primarily started at like doing video editing and stuff like that, and then it slowly moved into, one day I think I just woke up and I realized, oh, I'm actually a videographer now.
Yeah, right.
I'm like filming a lot more than I'm like editing, and I think just being in Melbourne, there's just so much music around and people that are wanting to do cool stuff. So I think that's kind of like how I've just fallen into that. Not a bad place to be though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What drew you to editing?
When when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I used to watch all these graffiti videos and all these documentaries from like the 80s and 90s and stuff of people just doing all this stuff, this kind of like underground world that I didn't really know anything about. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I remember just sitting there watching this video one day and I was like, I want to make a video that's like excites me the same way that that I feel right now. And so I started filming my mates like skating and painting graffiti and doing all this. And then I wanted to make, I was using like a crappy camera. I think like just like a little camcorder that I think a friend had or something. And then I was like, oh, I need a better camera. So I started saving up money, got a better camera. Then with that camera, I was like, oh, I can like, start maybe getting jobs doing this. And then I was like buying better gear so I could keep filming my mates painting. And then it was kind of like this thing where it was just stacking on top of each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you part of that MTV generation? Because there was a lot of that skateboarding stuff. There was Jackass, and of course, music videos that were.
I think that kind of like that, like I don't know what you'd call it, like almost like lo-fi or like home video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so. I still love using handy cams and stuff like that whenever I can like using even just like is it DVI or the high what are they called? High 8 or Digi 8 cams.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like between. It's not VHS, but it's
somewhere in between.
Somewhere
right?
in between. Yeah. I'll use those whenever I can because it's just it adds something that like other cameras just really don't. If you're using like professional cameras and stuff, it's not. You can't get dad zooms on a. Yeah.
I love the dad zoom.
The dad zoom's the best.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick uses the dad zoom, I reckon.
No,
goes back to him.
The dad zoom's it's shaky and it's zooming in on a face. It's zooming on the wrong part of what's happening,
That's right, and it usually starts off pretty good,
yeah,
and then gets worse
then
as the zoom.
Yeah, it's like the kid opening it's like, what'd you get for Christmas? And then it's like a zoom in on like their shoulder or something like that, and they're like, I got this, and then
Yeah. It's interesting that you say you started off getting into editing because when it comes to videography, I've said this before on the podcast, but I think videography is like 70% editing.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I always found in my experiences and doing it, it's like, okay, I'm at this restaurant or I'm at this festival or whatever it may be. It was called Homegrown. Back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Bliss and Esso were the headliners and Draft and a few other people were there. And it's like, okay, so they're singing, they're moving across, someone threw their handbag or their bra on stage. That did happen. And so it's like, okay, these shots are all cool, but they're sort of isolated. They I can color correct them, I can do this and that, but they don't actually mean anything unless they're edited.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of...
Yeah. I guess video is not really anything until you kind of like make that emotional connection between shots and stuff like that, and how like sequences of images kind of like come together. I think I've saved more projects in the edit than like probably anyone in the world.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like and being able to, I think, go through stuff and find usable footage from stuff that's like actually bad is it's quite a skill to have, where you're able to like be like, oh, this frame of like nothing happening, even shots like what do you call it, like a whip pans and stuff like that, which you normally would just be like garbage footage, but being able to like turn that into like a kind of like quick transition between shot and stuff, I think that's kind of like I guess part of that whole editing side of.
How did you learn to edit? Was it just did you YouTube University? Did you Google stuff?
I
Did
think
you
I
just
think
do it?
I think it was just doing it. It was
Yeah.
before, like nowadays on YouTube, you can kind of like look up anything, and I still do to this day. But when I first started it, I think I had some cracked version of Adobe and the crappiest laptop in the world that would crash every 5 minutes and stuff. And I was slowly kind of like learning how to use Adobe, and I think I still have those projects probably somewhere deep in a hard drive. And if I was to look at them now, I'd be like, what the hell was I doing?
Oh yeah, man. I remember younger, like exporting a video, and I hadn't done the settings properly or knew nothing about export
no.
settings.
You don't realize until, I don't know.
However long it takes.
Yeah, however long it takes before you're like, oh, what have I been doing?
But I realized that this file was going to be massive, and I was at the same time moving. I had season 1 of Westworld on my computer, so I was exporting a video, but then moving Westworld onto a hard drive at the same time. And I'm like, what else can I move? And it was like Mission Impossible, trying to create space on my computer.
For the files. Yeah. I still do that. Yeah. I think I've got this stack of hard drives at home that I was having to go through it recently actually, and it's just like, it's almost like takes up the entire
Off the
coffee.
dome,
Yeah.
how many terabytes of footage do you reckon you have at home?
What's that like? It's in the hundreds, probably close to 1,000. I reckon.
Petabyte.
Probably. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I would say so.
Is it catalogued or is it like?
I know where things are.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's the shame closet at home where everything's stuffed into it and you don't open it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I'm such a digital hoarder.
Okay.
Like I will never delete anything. It's all there somewhere.
No, that makes sense.
Because I might need it one day.
Yeah, who knows? I think that too, but it's like, I haven't plugged this hard drive in 2 years. Did I need it? But oh well.
Yeah, I need to buy more hard drives constantly, and I'm always thinking, I'm like, there's probably some that I could get rid of, and I look at it and I'm like, no, I might need this interview. This person who I interviewed 10 years ago,
They might commit a crime, and the police might need it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. You never know.
You posted like yesterday a 1-800 Shadow
Yeah.
music video.
Yeah.
And it's very different to the stuff we were talking earlier. But how do you approach that sort of rap genre compared to a grungy sort of?
The rap's kind of like a new thing. I feel like this is kind of like only the second hip hop kind of.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. That's that video is probably even like Shadow wanted just this kind of like, it's just me in the studio. With the way social media is nowadays, everybody reacts better to, I think, what would you call it? Like
Vertical?
not vertical, but like, you know, it's like, oh, he was just in the studio and he's recorded this quickly, you know, it's very like real. Well, people, it's real, but it's real. And that was definitely kind of like why we shot that the way we did.
Yeah. Is it just on social media or is it also?
No, so that's just that's not a music video or anything like that. That's just
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it was just a social media clip, and I think we're going to be doing a bunch more of those kind of like, it's just out around. Yeah.
I think we've just discovered a new form of media because that's not. I'd say it's a music video, but it's on social media.
Social media, yeah.
But it's. I don't want to call it an incomplete song per se, but it's not like, I was going to say standard length song, but then again, Pink Panther has released a 20-minute album before. So how long should music be?
Yeah, that's Spotify's fault, I feel.
Oh yeah, thank you Spotify, yeah. But yeah, so what's it been like working in a new genre?
It's been cool. It's like kind of refreshing, I think. Not that like I think any other genre is restrictive per se, but I think growing up always listened to hip hop and rap and stuff, so it's cool to finally be able to work with these people that I think I'm much more familiar with that kind of music, or like I feel like I know a bit more what they're kind of like looking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Lockie even gave me a chance with that Pixel Junkie.
How closely do you work with the artists?
Very closely. Yeah. I'd say like I think it should always kind of be like half and half. Like I don't think I would ever kind of like go into a project and be like, it's being done this way. I'm not that kind of person, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like it should always be like very collaborative, because then everybody, it's not even about being like happy with the end result. I think it just means the process is much better. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you sort of build that connection if it's like with a new artist or something like that?
Beers.
Beers? Dude, that's low-key a goat strategy.
I reckon you got to do it. You got to have a couple beers with whoever you're working with, otherwise you don't know who you're working with.
Does a coffee work, or does it have to be?
Yeah. I think just that you need to kind of like get to know the person.
So a warm beverage in the morning and a cool beverage in the evening.
Yeah, I reckon.
Something like that.
I think it's just getting to know the person on like a bit more than just kind of like, oh, this is someone I'm doing it. There's nothing wrong with doing it like just doing a job for somebody, but I think to get a better result, it's just having that kind of like, I guess, connection with the person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you,
Yeah.
by the way. You are going on a tour with Leaf Dog, BVA. It's you know, across a few cities in Australia.
Yeah, East Coast.
Yeah, tell me more about it, because this is a really interesting.
What do you want to know?
It's like, it seems like it's going to be a bit of a technical challenge, and you're not just. Are you filming live performances and behind the scenes stuff, or what's sort of going on with this gig?
I think the idea is it's 3 shows. Big one's going to be in Melbourne, so if you want to, you should come along.
Absolutely.
It'll be insane.
Yeah.
It's kind of like wrap up highlight reels of the shows, and then it's going to be a lot of BTS, just kind of like clips, funny things that happen through the day, and then at the end I'm going to be making like a full kind of like mini documentary thing of kind of like everything that happened and stuff, because the guy that's organized it has planned quite a lot of activities for them to do.
So this is like a 5-10 minute doco thing, or
we'll see. It could be even longer. He also kind of just wants. He is even saying like, oh, it might just be just something for me to keep in the future, just so I can like look back when I'm older and be like, yeah, hell yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's awesome. Does this excite you, being on tour and?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've done kind of like mini tours with people and kind of like gone to or done like multiple shows and stuff.
Yep.
But this will be a bit bigger than I think what I am used to. Yeah.
How do you like working on a live music shoot? Because I'm sure with a music video there's control. You can point the lights in certain directions. You can start and stop. But a performance, they just go.
I think I'm more comfortable doing that almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I think that's just kind of like how that's what I've usually operated with. Like when going into music videos or like structured shoots like you're talking about, I think that if my baseline is like, oh, chaotic, don't know what you're getting or anything, structured shoots is like, it's luxury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the fact that I've kind of always, when filming skating and graffiti and all that kind of stuff, you don't know what's happening. You're not in control of any kind of like lights or anything like that. It's always just like what you get and turning that into something. Yeah.
What do you think will be the biggest challenge for you on this upcoming tour?
Getting sleep, I think.
Getting enough sleep.
Getting enough sleep. Yeah, getting enough sleep. Making sure we don't miss our flights. No, I think their quick turnaround is going to be kind of like interesting, but it's definitely not something that I'm not used to. The
Just to add further context to someone who might not know in terms of like being a tour videographer, um, you know, it's not just you turn up, you set up your gear, you film, you download the footage overnight as you're sleeping. You're also editing to some degree, doing some type of management. There's a lot of coordinating that you have to do. So it's actually, you're using a lot of different parts of the brain. And so...
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Oh, you're ready for it. You're completely capable. What's with the negative self-talk, man? You've got this.
No, it should be good. Should be good.
I noticed also on your Instagram page that you actually have a lot of film photos.
Yeah.
So is that your side hobby outside of this, or
Yeah,
how
like
did you get into that?
That's also something that I think I've just kind of always been doing. I wouldn't call myself a photographer by any means. I think photography is much harder than videography.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Why is that?
I think because it's so much harder to tell a story with one frame.
Yep.
And or like convey an emotion or something through just like one photo. Whereas like if you've got 5 minutes
Yeah.
to do that, that's quite easy, I think.
I always like the idea of doing like micro stories inside of a piece. So a lot of my videos were just event recaps and stuff like that. So if it's a party and there's people, they're all dressed up nicely, there's potentially live music, there's people serving drinks. So a mini story could be someone looking to the side, one shot, a shot of the musicians playing or the singer, and then it could be a shot of people dancing. And so that's a mini story.
Is this is photos?
This is video.
Oh, video. Yeah.
I think the interesting thing about photos is you can sort of capture the middle of stories. You can't capture a full story. That's just sort of...
Yeah, true. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
It's sort of like this sort of moment in time. That is quite delightful. And I struggle with this too. I don't think I'm a particularly good
No, that's why.
photographer per se.
No, I still really enjoy doing it,
Yeah.
and I like playing around with like, my camera collection, my film camera collection at home is disgusting. Like I've just got
How many do you have?
probably like 30 or something. I just love, and I'll buy crappy ones and stuff that I'll look up example photos and be like even like the Holger. You know? Yeah. I've got like a couple of those because I really like playing around with toy cameras and
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So you're really into tech.
Yeah. I love the tech side of it. I think like, even more so on like the computer side. I think I'm just such a geek.
Yeah, right. Where do you think this sort of comes from?
My mum, for sure.
Yeah?
She called me up the other week and she's like, they've taken Star Trek off Netflix, so I'm going to build my own server and she's like, you can have access to it as well because I watch Star Trek. And so she built her own server just to like host all these TV shows and stuff that she's sick of getting taken off Netflix. And then, yeah, that's definitely where I get it from.
Over time, she'll have quite the catalogue.
Yeah, she already does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I grew up with like computers with their guts just hanging out and stuff like that, and mum building LAN networks and stuff like that. So I always had that kind of like understanding of that. And then I think photography and videography, I think it's like this nice nature, this nice kind of like marriage between tech and creativity. Like you can kind of like sit in the middle of it, and you can have quite like you don't need to have a understanding of like the tech to be a good photographer, though. I think that's not even really that important, but it is nice to like know about that side of it, I think.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any dream pieces of tech that you want to grab?
I want a better workstation.
Yeah.
I want a Threadripper processor and the best GPU I can find, and
Good luck with
yeah,
the prices.
I know. I want a SSD for Christmas. I think we're like $500 now or something. Far out.
You can edit all your dad zooms on that new machine.
Yeah.
Hey?
Actually, I need to. I'm talking about servers. I'm starting to think it would be more cost effective for me to set up like a NAS server and start doing like the old, the hard drive thing, because the amount that I end up spending on like just hard drives and stuff is
Oh yeah.
it's actually ridiculous.
And then would you convert your current data load onto the?
I don't know. Nah, that would be such an undertaking.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably put that into storage somewhere and forget about it. That's the easier option.
Yeah. Do you have any dream projects or anything like that you want to work on?
I would really, I would love to get into documentary filmmaking. I would like to make something that kind of like has, kind of like what I was talking about before, about watching those movies and getting this like feeling of, excitement, or just these like quite powerful emotions that I was feeling. I would like to still continue to make stuff like that for like kind of like, I guess, like the next generation of people that can then watch it and get those same feelings,
Yeah.
Stuff that like maybe has a bit of, not saying music videos don't have substance, but yeah, something that kind of like has, I guess, like meaning behind it, or like, intention.
I can totally relate to this because I was in a hole doing videography of just doing social media videos, and I used to edit street talk sort of things, and this was just like if McDonald's was in video form on TikTok, this was the type of content I was making, and I'm like, this is not a positive contribution to society.
No,
and I'm like,
yeah,
I need to make something meaningful. And I think this is meaningful.
Yeah,
no,
no, 100%. I hate social media content, and I watch it all the time. Like I'll be on my phone, I'll sit there and I'll watch it. Yeah, and it's like it's fast food for your brain, isn't it? Where you just kind of like, after a while as well, you're watching it and you're like, I just can't anymore.
I even don't really like editing for the social media ratio too.
No, you mean like,
Yeah.
no, I hate reels. Yeah. I feel like everybody would agree with that. Was everybody hates videographers all hate vertical. Yeah.
If you're a videographer and you like shooting vertical, comment below and tell us why, because you're really going to give me some insight
You're
into.
insane.
Yeah. A little bit insane. Yeah.
I have been finding it more fun than I used to. Now that when I'm shooting, I'm thinking about that kind of stuff. I refuse to turn my camera vertical. I'll still film horizontal, and I'm just always cropping in. That's kind of always what I'll do.
Yeah, same here. We had an event here recently with a Get the Shot workshop, and I filmed behind the scenes on my Meta glasses.
Oh, how are those?
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think just as a behind the scenes mechanism,
Yeah.
we talked a bit earlier about like personal brands and stuff like that. And I'm like, if someone was just doing their thing and just recorded it and it was okay and people were cool with it, the content that you'd be able to get from that is just the best. It teaches people so much, and people love that behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And especially with photographers and videographers, it's like they're holding the camera and stuff like that, and it's just super, super wonderful.
It reminds me of, I saw this video years ago. I feel like it was like when GoPros kind of started becoming more and more common. And some guy had strapped a GoPro to his head at his boring office job, and he made this like, standard GoPro videos where it's like people skiing and it's to all this hectic dubstep music and all this kind of stuff. And he had made that at his boring office job. And it's like him like scanning files and stuff, and then like sliding back to his desk and sending emails. It was quite funny.
That goes back to that point of like how important the edit actually
Oh
is.
yeah. The energy that you pacing and all that, it all happens in the edit, I think.
It's interesting with editing as well because I think you or I could teach someone how to navigate DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro pretty quickly, but to actually learn how to edit and like the pacing and stuff like that you just have to put your reps in for that.
Yeah. I think it's you just have to do it. You have to be. I think you need to watch a lot of television as well to be able to understand like where cuts happen. That's how I learned.
I've been saying this. I think watching is as important as doing.
Yeah. You got to watch 7 hours of television minimum a day, I reckon. And then...
And if you're wondering, I don't have 7 hours in my day.
You got to make
Check
time
how much time you spend on your phone.
Yeah, true.
You can get a whole season of True Detective done.
Because that's how I learned. I've read books on editing and stuff, and I think that was really like eye opening to like see how like, you know, like the golden age of cinema and stuff. How they learned how important editing was, and when I was reading it as well, like I was amazed at like how much of it had already made sense, you know. But it was cool to see that it's like, oh, this is stuff that's been understood for like nearly 100 years now, you know.
How interesting.
Yeah. They were so quick to understand, like to, I guess, like call editing an art form and understand the importance of it, I guess, yeah.
Even though it was a lot of shots that nowadays would be considered,
garbage.
long or dragging or garbage or anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's completely changed from that. But there's still, you go back at like old movies, like I guess like after when talkies came out.
Oh yeah.
When talkies came out, and they were doing like invisible cuts and stuff in there, and like they really understood what they were doing.
Every time I think of old movies, I had an old executive producer named Jan. We had a podcast together.
Yeah.
He's this funny German guy, and he talked about the Lumiere brothers and their very first film that they made. Yeah. And the first shot is a train going towards the screen.
Oh, and it scared everyone in the...
That's the like what the paper reported.
Yeah.
But he said, isn't this the greatest movie of all time? That people thought a train was coming to them and they got scared and ran out of the theater. No one's been able to pull that off since. And he goes, there's no way that's true.
Yeah, I guess they do that with like Paranormal Activity and all, you know, every time a horror movie comes out, somebody died and somebody had a heart attack in the theater, and
dude, there's like,
it happens in America all the time probably.
You should look up, and the audience should look up, news reports when The Exorcist came out.
Oh, yeah.
People never seen anything like it before, and people haven't had reactions to a movie like they've reacted to The Exorcist.
Really?
It was nuts. People were like horrified for weeks because it wasn't just jump scares.
It was like
the tension and how it builds up, and that's a full-on movie, hey.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. That's that and like what's the other one? Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Isn't that movie cursed?
Yeah, probably.
I feel like there's a Poltergeist cursed thing. Editor, put up a note. Is it cursed? I'm the editor. All right. We like to wrap up the podcast by having the previous guest leave a question for you, not really knowing who you are.
Right. Okay.
What is something that improved your photography/videography that had nothing to do with your camera or equipment?
I think travel.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think being in places that I wasn't used to and seeing stuff for kind of like the first time. I'm thinking mainly like for photography, like you go somewhere new and exciting and you're looking at stuff that it seems so kind of like fresh and new, and it's stuff that I think people that would like normally live there, they would kind of just walk past and not really be interested in talking, like taking a photo of, like going through old towns and you're taking photos of like a mailbox there and stuff like that. But I also think it's important to be able to live in your own city or do that in your own neighborhood, to be able, because all that stuff is there for you to find as well, but you need to think like you're traveling, but in your own neighborhood.
That's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
What an amazing perspective.
All the photos I took were garbage though.
Really?
Probably, most of them.
Garbage how?
I don't know, it's like, I take weird photos, and like
You don't?
no, but I like taking them kind of like for me, and then I like playing around editing them and stuff. Like when you're shooting film though, that's kind of like, I really like how you don't have that option to kind of like go away and tweak like a raw file and stuff. It's like, no, you got that photo, that's yours now, that's, put that on the wall. Yeah, I would like, because I don't consider myself a photographer or anything, I think some of the photos I take are they're just for me, a lot of the time.
I think, just to challenge you a little bit, you're a multifaceted creative. You're good at a lot of things.
No.
Don't sell yourself short. I'm telling you, it's all good. You're quite good at a lot of things, and it's okay to call yourself a lot of things.
Yeah, no. Start charging for my photography, maybe.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, that is actually, because I've done some kind of like band photography, but I think that's something that I kind of like would like to be able to offer kind of like in the future. I think just being able to like, then you run the risk though of like doing a live show, and it's like, you can take photos too, right? And you're like, can I? I've got to take video, now I've got to take photo.
It's annoying how much of a salesperson you have to become when you enter a creative freelance.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes a selling thing of, I can do your promo photos, I can't do your live photos and your live videos.
Yeah. I got asked to do that for this tour, and I was like, I was like, if you want, I can do both, and I can do it without video being sacrificed, or like not, I'll make sure that I get video, but then you run the risk of me not getting good photos.
Yeah.
And then the show's over and you don't have photos, so.
Do you reckon it's possible, you know how some photographers will have two bodies on them with different lenses for like quick swaps?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's possible in videography, or one camera's video, one's photo?
One on each shoulder.
Anyway, Torben, it's been lovely, chatting with you on this podcast. We've met a couple times before already, but I just love what you're getting up to, and I can't wait. And I'll definitely be at that show.
Awesome.
It's in July, right?
In July 15th, I want to say. That sounds right.
Fantastic. Whatever. We'll put it on the screen.
Cool.
The actual date. But thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.